I'm making this video on being retired and some of the weird things I've noticed about society in general, and why I actually think electricians are some of the smartest people in the world. Uh, the reason I say it is because I used to work as an electrician, and an electrician, and if you're an electrician out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can walk into a room, any room. It could be a warehouse, it could be a huge building, and you could be able to pick up exactly what's going on in that room as far as the electrical system goes, as well as some of the other stuff, some of the plumbing stuff, drywall, um, sprinkler systems, all that stuff. That's one of the things that electricians and other trades all figure out. That's part of the job. It's a rough job. It's a very hard job, physically hard job. And it can be mentally tough too because you have to understand certain things like load calculations on lighting loads. You have to understand number of wires you can put in a box, in a junction box. You have to basically be able to look at a room and be able to read that room and know exactly, say with a set of blueprints, exactly how you're going to create what you're going to create in that room. And your average Joe Blow doesn't understand any of that. They don't know anything. All they know is that you flip a switch and the lights go on. Or you stick a device into a receptacle and it works. But outside of that, they don't really know a whole lot. They don't know anything about electrical. And I've been out of the trades for a while, and I've realized that being out of the trades now for like 10 years at least, I realized that general society kind of works on basically doing what they can do to survive. It might be working at a restaurant, it might be being a cook, it might be being a house cleaner, whatever, house cleaner. I mean, there's a lot of different types of jobs, but the one job that is really, you have to be pretty freaking smart is being an electrician. I don't consider myself smart, but I was very interested in the electrical systems. I thought that was very interesting, which is why I finished up my 4 years of electrical apprentice. But I noticed since I got older and I had to go to like doctors and stuff, I realized they don't know a single thing about how anything works. They just know how the body is supposed to function. And if it's not functioning correctly, they're going to try to help you make that body function correctly. Which I've also realized they don't really know a whole lot about that either. So I put something to test because they got me on some medications. Because I got sick years ago, and then ever since then they had me on some medication. So I started just realizing that maybe they aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. Maybe they just got positioned in this room to sit there and write prescriptions. And as a former electrician, I can look at a room and I can understand exactly where the lights are, how the lights are run, how the receptacles are run, how which switches are controlling what lights, and then as far as anything to do with like 220 circuits, dryers, washers, stuff like that, I can tell exactly where they're connected back to the panel, and even be able to figure out where they're run inside the walls, so you could trace them back or whatever you got to do if you're troubleshooting. But when I went to the doctor, I realized, man, a lot of people and people in general really don't understand a whole lot other than what they're kind of trained to do. And you might have somebody that's really smart, book smart, could tell you about quantum theory or all kinds of stuff, but when it comes to like understanding how a light switch works, a three-way switch, single pole, double throw, all that stuff, they have no clue. And I just find it kind of fascinating, in a way sort of sad, because I used to do all this stuff, and now I'm just kind of at the mercy of the doctor. The doctor says, here. So what I did was, I figured, you got to find a tool that's going to work. It's like if you're going to mow the yard, you get a tool that works. If you're going to do electrical work, get some Klein tools. Get some good side cutters, some channel locks, and some strippers. But the tool to keep the human body functioning, I never really understood that. And as an electrician, I'd go and I'd drink beer. I'd work hard, drink beer, sweat my ass off, and then come back, drink more beer, and repeat the cycle, which eventually took me down some bad roads. But I quit all that 20 years ago, and at 63 years old, I'm kind of left with, what I'm left with. So I changed the eating habits. I got the labs from the doctor. Started changing my eating. I started going full keto, like serious freaking keto, like nothing but keto. No sugar, no bread, no candy, no snacks. If I have any chips, it'll be counted off like 8 chips. And I went to the doctor yesterday, and I get my blood pressure is 117/77. My blood glucose is at 94, and it's never been that good. It's always been, horrendous. Not horrendous, but questionable. So I don't understand, as a former electrician, anything to do with the medical stuff, but I started studying it myself. And then I look at this keto thing, and it makes sense. It just made sense. Don't eat the sugar, don't eat the bread, minimize the glucose, so minimize the carbs, eat protein, and I eat vegetables. I'm not cutting out vegetables. And miraculously, all my labs came back completely normal, and I dropped 26 pounds in like 4 months. It changed everything in 4 months. All you have to do, I went from 275 pounds down to 248, 249. That's all it took. I can't undo the damage from years past, the way we lived and drank beers and smoked Pall Malls and smoked Camel Wides back in the 90s. But I realized that maybe I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, and maybe nobody is. But electricians, they're pretty smart, because they know how to turn things on and turn things off. But as far as the body goes, I didn't know. So when somebody told me this is looking not too good, triglycerides, I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what that is. Or your cholesterol, I don't know about cholesterol. What is that? And now I know, and since I learned it, and I realized, and I started changing stuff. I didn't go out and just start walking like a madman. I learned that's not going to do it. You're not going to cut the weight by just walking. And some people think you can eat like a big old friggin' sandwich. You eat like, a friggin' Subway sandwich. I'll just go walk it off. But it doesn't work that way. You have to change. You have to change everything. You change everything. As far as the eating goes, you got to change it all. And you got to get committed to it. That's the only way. And all these fad diets, people with talking about how you can get six-pack abs. These are like 20 to 30-year-olds that are, just trying to sell you something. It's a racket. It's not true. It doesn't work. Not for somebody 40, 50, or 60. So, if anything I've learned as being an older American now, is that if you want to change it, you don't change it all at once by just working out like a freaking madman. Just, that doesn't do it. That doesn't do it. The thing that changes things is the diet. That's it. The diet. Change the diet. Cut the bread. Cut the sugar. Watch the carbs. Eat the protein. Yogurt, cottage cheese, all the stuff, vegetables, chicken, beef. I didn't know this stuff, not when I was an electrician and I thought I was the smartest tool in the room. So maybe electricians aren't the smartest guys in the world, but at the time I thought I was. So I learned changing the diet and diet alone can do way more than exercise alone. Because I've tried the exercise and eating the normal way I used to, and I'd never lose any weight. I'd lose maybe 2 pounds, and it was just water weight. And now I've lost 26, and I'm not hungry all the time. So that's something to think about. Nobody watches the channel, but that's something to think about. Thanks for watching.